Good morning, everyone. So today we learn on this on biochemistry of obesity. So I guess that you all of know that what is obesity. So this is a figure. So by seeing this figure, you may know what is obesity. So this is the worldwide problem nowadays. So it's a major health problem worldwide, and basically this obesity depends upon the three things. One is that is the energy intake. Next one is that is the energy expenditure. So that means how much energy you spend, and third thing is that is the storage of fat. So generally, the principle, if you consume the higher calorie than the requirements. So that means if you consume a more amounts of carbohydrate or the fats, then what happens is, from these macromolecules we use, these macromolecules are used as a source of energy for different mechanisms of a body. So generally this energy is utilized by body for three things. So one is that is a basal metabolic rate, BMR, and next one is that is a physical activity, and next one is the SDA, specific dynamic actions. So these these three things we consume macromolecules, so especially these carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So from there we get energy. So when these in our body, these macromolecules, they are used for storage also. So carbohydrate, it is stored in the form of glycogen. Fats, they are stored in the form of triacylglycerol. And these proteins, so they are stored as a muscle proteins. So when we talk about this carbohydrate, so this carbohydrate is stored in the glycogen in the form of glycogen in liver and muscle. But this glycogen, the storage capacity of the body in the form of glycogen is limited. So that means in liver, anybody can store in the form of glycogen as a 800 grams. So beyond that, the carbohydrate is converted. This carbohydrate, they are converted into the acetyl CoA, and they are finally stored in the form of triacylglycerol. So, and this triacylglycerol, they are stored in a adipose tissue, and the capacity of storage of the fat for every individual is unlimited. So depending upon the depositions of these fats on their body or in on their adipose tissue, the people are differentiated into the obese or non-obese. So three root causes for obesity is that it's depend upon the three cases. So first one is the energy intake, second one is energy expenditure, and third one is the storage of energy in the form of fat. So now you may know the definitions of obesity. So obesity, it's simply that is what we have discussed now. That is the accumulations of triacylglycerol. So that's the depositions of triacylglycerol in adipose tissue. So obesity, it's a disorder of body weight regulatory system characterized by an accumulation of excess body fat. So how much fat, if it accumulated in a body, is considered as obesity. So in generally it is defined as if anybody they have deposited more than 20% of fat on their body than their ideal weight, then the person is termed as a obese. So generally this is accumulations of a body fats more than 20% of the ideal body weight of any individual, that is considered as a obese. So then how do we know that whether we are obese or not? So how do you know? So how do you diagnose whether the person is obese or not? So there are the certain measurements are available from which we can identify whether the persons or individual is a obese or not. So most common practice is that is a basal, this is a body mass index, BMI. So this is a body mass index. So body mass index is the ratio of weight in kg and height in meter. So it's a square of heights in meter. So when you divide a weight by a square of heights in meter, then you will get your body mass index. So the normal body mass index is that is from 18.5 to 25. So that is the normal. So if the persons have a BMI, that body mass index is less than it is 18.5, then it is then he or she is considered as a under nursing, that is a undernourishment. And then if the persons have a more than 25 of a body mass index, then the person is considered as a overweight. So when the persons get more than 30 the of is a body mass index, then then the person is considered as a obese. And this obesity is also, it is divided into the three types. So one is that is a more than 30 and less than 35, that is a mild obese. And if the person is more than 35, if his or her BMI is more than 35 and less than 40, then it is called as a moderate obese. And if the persons have a more than 40 of his or her body mass index, then it is called as a uh, severe obese, or it is also called as a morbid obese. So by measuring body mass index, so generally more than it is 18 to 18.5 to 25, that is a normal, and 25 to 30 it is considered as a uh, overweight, and more than 35 then it is called as a obesity. And that also divided into three groups. So 30 to 35, that is a mild obese, 35 to 40 moderate, and more than 40 it's a severe. So apart from this body mass index, we can measure that is the obesity by the other way also, that is the waist hip ratio. So if so this waist hip ratio is, that is the ratio of the circumference of waist and hip. So if in case of a mean, if the person's waist hip ratio is more than 90, then it is considered as a obese. And in case of a female, if his her waist hip ratio is more than 0.85, then she is considered as a obese. And generally, this waist hip ratio is generally used for to determine the central obesity. So waist height ratio. So it is also used to determine the obesity. And generally it's a ratio of the measurement of a waist circumference and the height of an individual. So the cutoff value is 0.5. If the persons have a this waist height ratio is more than 0.5, then he or she is considered as a obese. So next measurement, that is a skin fold measurement. So generally, it is skin fold measurement, that the skin fold is measured in case of the tricuspid area, so triceps area. And the skin fold measurement is generally in normal is, that is 5 to 25 millimeter in case of male, and 12 to 34 millimeter in case of female. So higher than that, it is considered as a obese. So causes of obesity. So there are various factors that may lead to the persons to the obese. So here we are going to discuss on these causes on this under these four these subheadings. So that is metabolism on the basis of genetic predisposition, on the basis of environmental and behavior, and on the basis of neuroendocrine syndromes. So on the basis of metabolism, so no doubt that is obesity is, that is the accumulations of triacylglycerol adipose tissue. So why or how does triacylglycerol they are accumulated in a adipose tissue? So as discussed, that is generally that means take we intake our energy for the different physical activities, and there is a basal metabolic rate. So when we take higher calories, so higher calories then the requirements of our body, then what happen, the remaining energy, that the extra energy, which is that extra energy is now stored in the body. So this energy is stored in the form of fat. So if we consume more energy than the requirements. Day by day, that means the energy is going to store in our body, and slowly the persons become a overweight, and finally to the obese. So if we consume a less energy than required by body, then what happen? Then slowly weight loss. So this the accumulations of triacylglycerol in adipose tissue is depend upon the high energy consumptions. So apart from that, the accumulations of triacylglycerol, that is also depend upon the ATPase activities. So deficiency of ATPase enzymes. So that lead to the that prevents the hydrolysis of ATP, so that the weight gain. So next one is that neuroendocrine syndromes. So due to the different these hormonal disorders, the persons may lead to the obese. So the endocrine disorders like this hypothyroidism, hypogonadism, hypopituitarism, and its causing syndrome, so that lead to the obesity. Apart from that, in case of the woman, so when the woman is in a pregnancy or in a this puberty and in a post menopausal conditions, on that time also what happen, they get a obese then male. So genetic predispositions. So the obesity is so when they're talking about the obese, so the obesity of offsprings, they are have a genetic relations. So when we comparing the obesity on a twins, the monozygotic twins have more, they have a 70% chances of having a obese. Similarly, in case of these dizygotic twins, 32% chances of having a this, if one person individual is obese, then the next twins also have a higher chance of getting obese. And apart from that, those persons, those individuals who are obese, then their offsprings also getting a higher chances of getting a obese. So that is depend upon the biological pattern. So if any children they are adopted, then so there's their obesity pattern that depends upon the biological pattern, not on the uh, present present this one parents. And next thing, that this obesity is also depend upon the mutations of the various genes. For examples, that different genes that is the mutations of different genes that also lead to the obesity. So the common different genes like this one leptin. So this leptin, so leptin protein, it is synthesized from a adipose tissue after its maximum this fat deposit. So that means it is leptin proteins, it's provide a satiety. So when these adipose tissues get a maximize in their size after the stored of triacylglycerol, then it synthesize a leptin protein. And this leptin protein, it in terms it goes to the hypothalamus, and it send a signal of satiety so that the people stop to eat. So when there is the mutations on these systems, then what happen? So the persons is failure to send the satiety signal to the hypothalamus, so that the persons is continuous consuming a food. So apart from leptin, the higher activities of lipoprotein lipase, so that also lead to the obesity. So this lipoprotein lipase, so that is the enzyme presence in the endothelial tissues, and this lipoprotein lipase is responsible for a degradations of triacylglycerols of this VLDL and chylomicrons. And after the degradations of triacylglycerols presence in VLDL and chylomicron by lipoprotein lipase, these fatty acids are uptake by adipose tissue, and then again these adipose tissue synthesize a triacylglycerol for a storage. So in this way, what happened is lipoprotein lipase. So that is responsible for a fat storage. So when there is the overactivities of this lipoprotein lipase takes place, then the persons lead to the obese due to the increased fat storage. So apart from that, the another hormone is that is the ghrelin. So ghrelin is secreted by a stomach, and its main function is that is the sending of sending off these one appetite signals to the hypothalamus. So when there is the overstimulations of the ghrelins, then the persons continually continually consume a food, so which ultimately lead to the storage of the fats and lead to the obesity. So apart from that, the other hormones are also there. That is the this FTO, fat and obesity associated proteins, and these melanocortin 4 receptors. So these are also on their mutations also that leads to the obesity. So generally, those persons which have a this higher activities of FTO, that is a fat and obese associated proteins, then these type of persons, they choose a high energy, high caloric diet, high caloric food than the others. So that lead to the obesity. So environmental and behaviors. So this obesity is also depends upon the environmental. So the environmental means that in certain places that what happen, the staple diets which they consume, so they contains a high caloric. So that means we have, so for examples, we have different types of rices. So all the rices, they do not have a similar index. Some rices, they have a higher glycemic index, while some have a lower glycemic index. For example, that's a brown rice, so it have a low glycemic index. And these are white rices, so they have a higher glycemic index. So if you consume these white rice of a same amounts, and if you consume a same amounts of brown rice, then which rice will give a high energy? So definitely this white rice will give a high energy. That means it contains a high glycemic index. So that those persons who consume a white rice as a staple diet, so they are having a higher chances to get a obese, because the food which they consume is a high energy or high caloric foods. So next things, that obesity is also depends upon the behavior of the individual persons. So some persons, they consume a food in a lower portion size, or some persons they consume a large portion size, and some persons they consume a very one or two items only, or some persons they consume a 10 or 11 items of the foods. So if you consumes of these 12 to 13 items, even though you are taking of a small size also, that altogether it's give a high energy. So that what happens, so that if so after you consuming of this high energy, then you required your body, then it's ultimately lead to the obesity. So the obesity is also, so it is also the causes for obesity is also the this behavior of the, it is also depends upon the behavior of the individual. So how he or she consume of food. So now the classifications of obesity. So the obesity can be classified on the basis of cause, on the basis of pathology, on the basis of degree of obesity as determined by body mass index, on the basis of distributions of fat. So where these fats are deposited in a body. So based on cause. So on the basis of the cause, obesity can be divided into the, it can be classified into the two groups. So one is primary or exogenous obesity, or next one is a secondary or endogenous obesity. So primary or exogenous obesity is, it is not associated with the clinical conditions, and generally in case of primary or exogenous obesity, in that the persons get obese because of intake of a high caloric diet. So in this, what happened? The persons required 2000 kilocalorie per day for his different activities. But instead of that, the persons, if he consumes 3000 kilocalorie per day, 3000 kilocalorie of diet per day, then what happened? This 1000 kilocalorie, that excess diet, that is stored in a body in the form of a fat, so that the persons get a obesity. So this type of obesity is generally known as a primary or exogenous obesity. So this obesity is related with the intake of a excessive energy than the body required. So next one is the secondary or endogenous obesity. So generally the secondary or endogenous obesity is associated with the clinical conditions. The persons get obese because of a because of a different conditions, clinical conditions, like this one hypothyroidism, this hypopituitarism, or some people they are having a this one, drug therapy, so which lead to the obese. So, for examples, you may heard that those persons who, so in especially in case of females, so those who are consuming contraceptives, so they are having a higher chance, having a higher chances to obese than the other woman who is not in a contraceptive this like this one this so Depo-Provera or oral contraceptive pills. So those women who are consuming these oral contraceptive pills or these one Depo-Provera, so they are having a higher chances of getting obese than the woman who is not consuming these contraceptive pills. So based on pathology, so on the basis of pathology, this obesity can be divided into two groups. Again, so that's the hypertrophic and the hyperplastic. So hypertrophic means that is the increasing in a size of adipose cells. So in case of hypertrophic, there is only increase in size of adipose cells. And in case of this one hyperplastic, there is increase in adipose cell number as well as increase in adipose cell size. And generally these hypertrophic types, so in which this adipose cell the increasing in adipose cell size, so this hypertrophic types of obesity is generally seen in a adult age. So fat distribution is usually central, and this hyperplastic type in which not only the increasing in size of adipose cell, but also there is the increasing the number of adipose cells, and this type of obesity is generally start in a childhood itself, and the distributions of fat in this type of obesity is peripheral as well as a central. So hypertrophic type on which increasing in the size of adipose cells, and it is generally onset in a adult, and this hyperplastic type, it is generally onset in a childhood type, and here not only the increasing in adipose cell size, but also there is an increase in the adipose cell number. So the distributions of fat in case of hypertrophic is usually central. In case of hyperplastic type, the fat is distributed both that is in central as well as in a peripheral. So classifications based on the BMI of obesity. So already that we have discussed this one. So body mass index. So we can measure the body mass index of any individual by dividing by taking a ratio of weight in kilogram and square meter of a height of that individual. So normal BMI ranges from this 18 to 25, and non-obese individuals. So those persons whose BMI is less than 25, they are considered as a non-obese individual. So the persons having a BMI more than 25 and less than 29.9, so that is they are called as a overweight. And those persons whose BMI is more than 30 and less than 34.9, then they are called as a obesity or mild obesity, which is also called as a grade 1. And those individual which BMI is more than 35 and less than 39.9, they are considered as a moderate obesity or grade 2. And the individual which BMI is more than 40 is considered as a severe obese or grade 3. So classifications of obesity on the basis of distributions of fat. So on the basis of the distributions of fat, this obesity is of two types: upper body obesity and lower body obesity. So in case of upper body obesity, the fat is accumulated. The fat is accumulated around the waist, then the hip. So that is this is generally it is generally considered as a central obesity. And in case of the persons who have a upper body obesity or central obesity, so their waist hip ratio is, in case of the male, it is more than 1, and in case of the female, it is more than 0.8. And generally the persons is the android shape or apple shape. And the persons who have a upper body obesity, they are in a higher risk for these uh, medical complications of obesity, like this diabetes, coronary, this hypertensions, and this coronary. So lower body obesity. So generally, so in case of lower body obesity, the fat is deposited around the hip. So here the waist hip ratio is less than 1 in case of men, and the in case of a female it is less than 0.8. And generally the this type of those persons who have a this lower body obesity, so they have a gynoid shape or pear shape. So welcome back. We are discussing on classifications of obesity. So this obesity can be classified on the basis of different things. So that is this on the basis of cause. It is of two types. So that is the primary and secondary. So primary means that is the uh, increased intake of energy by a dietary sources, and secondary means that is the obesity due to the different clinical conditions like hypothyroidism, hypopituitarism, hypogonadism. And then this obesity can be classified on the basis of the pathology. So that means hypertrophic and the hyperplastic. So hypertrophic means that is the increasing in the size of adipose cells, and generally this type of obesity is generally occurs during a adult. And another one is the hyperplastic. So that is in that case, in case of the hyperplastic, there is not only increasing in the size of adipose cells, there is also the increasing in the number of adipose cells. And this type of obesity is generally seen from a childhood. So next one is this obesity can be classified on the basis of the distributions of a fat. So upper body obesity and lower body obesity. So on the basis of this obesity can be classified on the basis of degree of obesity. So that means generally does when the individual's BMI is more than 30, then it is considered as obesity. And on the basis of the BMI, this obesity of three types. So grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. So grade 1 in between 30 to 35, grade 2 in between 35 to 40, and severe more than 40. So biochemical mechanism of obesity. So how the persons get obese when? So the primarily or common cause for obesity is that is the uh, depositions of energy. So that means, so the when we talk about the body weight, so maintaining of body weight of any individuals, so the three things, so that determines the maintenance of body weight. So one is that is the energy intake, second one is that is the energy output, and third one is the energy stored. So when energy intake is higher than energy output, then energy get stored, and this energy is stored in the adipose tissue in the form of triacylglycerol. So when there is the continuous increase intake of energy, then individual's output, then there is a continuous storage of triacylglycerol on a adipose tissue. So when this triacylglycerol is stored in the adipose tissue, then this adipose tissue get increase in size. So once these adipocytes they get their maximum limits on their size, then what happen, these adipocytes they induce the differentiations of a new adipocyte cells. So that what happen, there is the increasing in the number of newly formed adipocytes. And if the person is continually, if he is adding the energy, then what happens, these triacylglycerols they are accumulated in the newly formed adipocytes, and then finally these adipocytes also they get a large, and they get they interest to their maximum sizes. So when and after the obese, then if the persons stop taking the high energy. So that means if he is in a low calorie diet, then what happens? Now these fat cells, they shrunken on their size due to the loss of this triacyl glycerol. But there is a there is not reducing the number of adipocytes. So that is the one of the reason. So that is the one of the reason when the persons, they, he or she, that controlled his body weight by exercises, and it is easy to again get obese after he stopped his or her dieting, because they have a increased number of adipocytes, so that these adipocytes stimulate the taking of the high energy, so that they can be stored and get a obese. So on conclusions, that what means, it is easy to again weight gain after a weight loss. So biochemical changes in obesity, or that's the metabolic adaptations in obesity. So generally those persons who are obese, so they have a altered in a lipid parameters. So derangement in a lipid profile. So generally we can see that the increased free fatty acids, increased cholesterol, and increased triglycerols in the circulations of the obese person. And the biochemical mechanism why the obese persons have an increased free fatty acids, free cholesterol, and the triglycerol in their circulations. So for that, so first what happened, when when the persons get obese after adding of this one triglycerols under the adipocytes, now these adipocytes, they secrete a cytokinins called as a adipokinins. So which is called as a pro-inflammatory cytokines. So the those adipocytes which have a maximum triglycerol storage, so maximum on size, they start to release the pro-inflammatory cytokines, which is also called as a adipokines. And in turns, these adipokines, so they destroy the insulin receptors of the body, so that the persons slowly becomes a insulin resistant. And this so when this insulin get resistance, now there is the continuous activations of hormone sensitive lipase in a adipocytes. And this hormone sensitive lipase, in turn, what it do, so it increases the lipolysis. So generally this lipid metabolism in the adipocytes, that is the lipogenesis and lipolysis, these both are depend upon the hormonal regulations. So lipogenesis, that is the synthesis of lipid, that is done by a, that is lipid synthesis is takes place in presence of insulin, and when there is a deficiency of insulin, then the just opposite, that is the lipolysis takes place. So in here what happened, this due to the insulin resistance, these insulins are not able to act on the adipose tissues, so that these hormone sensitive lipase, so they get activated, and so that it enhances the lipolysis. So due to the lipolysis, there is the increased releasing of free fatty acid into the circulations along with the glycerols. And these increased free fatty acids, they are take, take up by a liver, where this liver utilize these fatty acids for the synthesis of cholesterol as well as triacylglycerol. So there is the increased cholesterol biosynthesis and lipogenesis in liver. So after the formations of cholesterol and lipids in the liver, then now they are packed in the VLDL. And in the form of the VLDL, they are released into the circulation, since there is a increased concentrations of VLDL and LDL in the circulations. So those persons who are obese, they are slowly getting to the insulin resistance, and that lead to the derangement of the lipid profile. So derangement of the lipid profile means that is the increase in free fatty acids, free cholesterol, and triacylglycerol in the circulations. So the persons who are in the obese, they also have they also been associated with a metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome is a it's the conditions where the persons have a three symptoms. One is that obesity with hypertension and this lipid derangement. So that means, so anybody for the diagnosis of the individual having a metabolic syndromes, the person should have a three any of should have a three symptoms. So one is that is the obesity. So second one is the person should have a this one diabetes, and the third one is the person should have a lipid derangement. So and lipid derangement. So those persons, the person should have a either they should have a more than 150 milligrams of a triacylglycerol, or the person should have a SDL less than 35. So then it's lead to the it is then considered as a metabolic syndrome. And this non-alcoholic liver disease. So here those persons who are in the obese, so due to the continuous uptake of these fatty acids released by adipose tissue to those fatty acids which is released by adipose tissue is uptake by a liver, and due to the lipogenesis these fatty acids they are get accumulated in a liver and lead to the this non-alcoholic liver disease. So that is the non-alcoholic liver disease, means that is the depositions of fatty acids onto the liver, so tend to the fatty liver. And this fatty liver, uh, the fatty liver can get by an individual by two causes. So one is by consuming the alcohol, or next one is by depositing of these fats by the other than the alcohol. So here in the obesity, there what happened. Here it is a non-alcoholic liver disease. So fats get deposited on a liver, and finally the liver, fatty livers. So medical complications of obesity. So those persons who are obese, they are higher risk in the different medical complications like this one diabetes mellitus, coronary heart diseases, cancers. So especially cancers of this different part of a GI, like this colon cancer, esophagus, pancreas, and also those persons who are obese, they are higher chances of getting osteoarthritis, and this non-alcoholic fatty livers, and this gallbladder disease, so cholelithiasis, and also having a chance of, in case of the females, there's a chances of this infertility, and this pulmonary disease, so respiratory syndromes. So these are the various medical complications that can be get from obese persons. So they have higher risk of obese persons. So treatments. So main goal for these treatments of obesity is that is the reducing of weight, and it can be achieved by consuming a low calorie diet, or it can be achieved by a lifestyle modifications, so such as self monitoring and self control, or setting a goal. And another that is this weight can be controlled by performing exercises. So this by performing exercises, it increases the energy output. And the effective way of this losing weight, or that is the combinations of this diet with exercises and behavior change. So apart from that, this can be get by using of different drugs. So drugs like the amphetamines, these fenfluramines, fluoxetine, dinitrophenol, sibutramines, and similarly by consuming of this tetrahydrolipostatin or orlistats, or by doing a hormone therapy to function. So that means those which have a secondary obesity, so that can be treated by a hormone therapy. And this tetrahydrolipostatin or orlistat. So that is this is the drugs which inhibits the this pancreatic lipase, so that the fat absorption is inhibited. And these amphetamines, so it increases the this one basal metabolic rates. And this fenfluramine, so it is used to the satiety of a foods. And this dinitrophenols, so it is the inhibitor of a oxidative phosphorylations, so that this so oxidation takes place, and so it uncoupling the oxidative phosphorylations, this dinitrophenol. So apart from the using of drugs and the exercises, there's another effective way of this removing loss of weight is that is by doing surgery. So surgery like the intestinal bypass surgery to reduce the absorption of fat. So lipectomy or liposuctions of deposited fat. So surgery is undertaken when other measures are not effective and should be done in selected cases. So this lipectomy and liposuctions of deposited fats. Nowadays it's a common procedures for the reducing of the weight. So now finally the questions. So that is, are you pleased with your body weight? So this is all about the biochemistry of obesity, and these notes are prepared from this reference book. So that is the biochemistry by Pankaj and I. So textbook of medical biochemistry by Dinesh Puri, and medical biochemistry by John W. Bynes and Merrick S. Dominic. So that for the further reference, you can see these books. So thank you for your participations.